Steve Magnante here at High-Octane Classics in Auburn, Massachusetts with another high-octane muscle car walk-around. Now you might wonder to yourself, which car was more popular in 1971, Mustang or Camaro? Well, believe it or not, the Mustang outsold the Camaro by a pretty significant margin. In 1971, 145,000 Mustangs were built versus 103,452 Camaros. The public had spoken. With that said, these were in their second year of this styling cycle right here. Camaro arrived in '67, and by 1970 had a total remix, rebuild, or restyle, which we see here, more of a European vibe going on. Now this one's been modified pretty heavily, which is a fine thing, nothing wrong with that. Disc brakes up front, a little hot small block underneath, 4-speed manual transmission, a steel cowl hood. You got to remember this kind of a hood right here was commonly seen on Chevelles, and it was available from the factory with the flapper door here, but this is a reproduction. And life is good if you're a Camaro owner. You can buy steel hoods. It's not fiberglass, it's a real steel hood, and it's actually, it fits the body really well. Now this one, of course, is a Hugger Orange. It's a great looking car. It has the chin spoiler and a trunk spoiler. Let's have a look inside. And again, this is the second model year for the Camaro in its second generation. These would run all the way through 1981, 82, 81. And 82 was the downsized Camaro and Firebird for 82. But with that said, let's have a peek under the hood. And here it is, the mighty small block V8 right here. It's a pretty docile little critter. It has hooker headers on it, an Edelbrock 4-barrel, nice lightweight aluminum intake manifold. And I would say probably good for at least 320, 350 horsepower potentially. It'll idle real sweet and drive with good alacrity, as they say. Alacrity is what that would be. Aluminum radiator, kind of nice to see that. Nothing worse than overheating on your way into the cruise night. And good to see the aluminum radiator looking pretty stock. It's a side tank radiator, which is a GM exclusive. And a nice looking car. HEI ignition right there, which is something that came along in 1975, but there's no harm done in adding one to a pre-75 Chevrolet. No points, no trouble with tune-ups. It's a much better distributor and hotter spark and better all the way around. Nice to see the Willwood power manual master cylinder right here, the aluminum body. And again, manual disc brakes with drums in the back, but a great looking under. Very tidy underneath here, has power steering. No air conditioning, which is fine with me because I like AC, but you know, they can be problematic in some cases. And I like a light car, less is more. That's just me. And this is also a non-power window car. Power windows would arrive for Camaro, I believe, in '73, but these are manual roll-up and roll-down windows right here. Good stuff. And again, power windows would be in the console in the middle of the car. And there's that mighty 4-speed transmission right there. And aftermarket gauges, nothing wrong with that. A 150 mile-an-hour speedometer. I would say on the right road, you might get up to 130 or something like that in this car. And the sport steering wheel, which actually was shared with the Vega and Corvette at various points in its life. Good looking wheel, but that's plastic. Everything about it is plastic. There's no metal spokes. But again, a good looking sport steering wheel. This one also has, I was going to say a tilt column, it's just a regular column. But bucket seats, of course, in Camaro. And a great looking car. The only thing about these, it's kind of tough, just like modern Challenger owners and Mustang owners. The back seat is really only good for 2 people. You try to sit in the middle, it's kind of a tough experience to sit in the middle. So these are two-seat kind of sporty cars, not really meant for the family, but they can drive anywhere. And here's the D80 trunk spoiler right here. This is the second generation of this. These arrived in 1970, and in '71 they grew up like this. In 1970 it was a shorter deck spoiler that was a little less saucy and in your face, but one of the classic styling touches in Detroit right here. The rear axle in this one is a 10-bolt, nothing wrong with that. 8.5-inch ring gear. That's a good, tough rear axle. And just a great looking car. It has the Hugger Orange, the black RS style stripes on it here, which is sort of like a nod to 1968, 69 Z28. Nothing wrong with that. And sometimes Camaros can be greatest hits mobiles, where you can just gather different themes on the same car. And it's like 1 + 1 = 3. It's a good thing. One subtle change from stock is the blacked out rear window trim right here. This would be bright stainless from the factory, but again, it looks more sinister and more subtle with the blackout treatment. It's been done at the front of the car as well. Speaking of subtle, GM wanted these cars to be so sleek and so European that the rain molding right here, that was optional stuff. You had to pay a little extra for the chrome bead right through here, and it makes it sleeker, kind of looks cool, very aerodynamic. But here's the bummer. If you're driving this on a rainy day, you roll the window down, you get rain on your shoulder. So be it. But again, you could get the stainless dress up here if you wanted it, but I say it looks better here. Less can be more. Sleek looking car. So here we have it, a 1971 Camaro, which is basically the second year for this styling cycle. Bill Mitchell and the stylists at General Motors really rocked it out of the park. In fact, the Camaro was so influential, the Chevy Vega subcompact shared a lot of the Camaro styling traits. So basically a baby Camaro in a Vega. Great looking cars either way. Now this one's a great example of it, and believe it or not, the Mustang outsold the Camaro. I dare say that 1970 Mustang or a 71 Camaro, more people are going to want a Camaro than a Mustang in this day and age. These are very popular cars. To learn more about this one, check it out on the High Octane Classics website.